Do you see that in many people's eyes?
I do. I see it in a lot of people. I think there's something that God put in all of us, and that's to overcome, to move forward.
Jesus Christ, you can trust him. He'll never fail.
We've seen midgets grow. We've seen arms and legs that stop growing. Mandada basata. I don't make this stuff up.
So are we going to be called away to meet the Lord? But it's not going to be 300 years. We live in right at the coming of Jesus Christ.
You're just a 10-foot-tall crybaby.
I'm crying.
It's not so bad. I mean, no Christians aren't being killed.
No, not yet.
What the Bible says, Leviticus 20:13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with the woman, they shall surely be put to death, their blood shall be upon them. And that, my friend, is the cure for AIDS.
The notion that atheists are somehow the intelligentsia among us and so forth, I think this is just completely false.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Age of Reason podcast. Alex, what's up, man?
Hey, not much, man. Happy day today. Just looking at the news. Looks right now 59 to 38. Bernie's up in New Hampshire.
New Hampshire's on fire right now.
Yeah, unfortunately, they're also Trump in it. But hey,
they're idiots. Those guys are idiots. Who gives a shit? You win some, you lose some.
That's right.
Kasich, though. Kasich in second place. Marco and Ted are like way down on the list. Hey, actually, I wonder if this has anything to do with this. Did you see the pictures that came out today of Rubio?
No.
Oh shit. Okay. There are a few pictures, and I'm gonna be the first to say that they are not the clearest pictures of Marco Rubio, like in his early 20s. Doing some Village People shit on a stage and hanging out at a gay foam party in Florida, in South Beach. That shit just came out today. I don't know if this is fake. I don't know what to make of it, but let's just see where this goes, because that's going to be some shit. But my friend Nick had a point. If he just outs himself, he may have a better chance, because he may get all those closeted gay Republicans that are always like, you know, stretching out their right leg a little too far in the stall at the airport. He may get those guys.
The ones that are always the ones that try to implement the law.
Yeah, the most homophobic. Well, fuck, speaking of implementing laws, dude, Michigan just passed a law banning sodomy.
You know, who cares about the water? You know, we got more important things to take care of over here.
But what?
Yeah, I saw that. I
punishable up to a felony of 15 years? Seriously? Oh, fuck the water. Dude.
Just don't fuck the booty.
Yeah, fuck the water, but don't fuck the butt. Just, my man, how are they going to catch people? Who's going to say anything? And they're straight or gay. They're ruining a lot of married men's birthdays. That's completely fucked up, dude. Michigan is at it again, and this is, I don't know. Help me out here if you know more about this. But the way this happened is that law got slipped into a bill for animal rights to prevent further abuse of animals. Is there a way to do a law where that can't happen anymore? Is there a way for that?
Where people don't slip amendments in there? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they should do, but it happens on every single level. I mean, it happens on the congressional level way too much.
Yeah, agreed. There needs to be some sort of law where it's like, dude, we're talking about animal rights. We're not trying to... You know, this isn't the time for gay bashing. If you want to do that, like, submit your bill so we know what's in it and we can vote that shit down.
Yeah, it's probably legal to fuck a horse over there, you know, but we don't need to put that in the animal rights bill.
Well, it did say sodomy with animals or any other humans.
Oh, okay.
And that's the way they put it in there. It was in the wording.
They snuck that in there. But yeah, I know John McCain before he ran for president, and he was actually a good person. That was something he was kind of working on previous, was to try to get those kind of amendments out of there.
What? Put it in the horse butt? What is he trying
no,
to work?
no, no. No, where you can't tack on these little amendments that have nothing to do with the bill.
It's just bullshit. I think I can't recall specifically what it was, but I know veterans get fucked the most out of all this because they try to Republicans will try to push their agenda, and I'm sure Democrats do it too, but notably Republicans will try to push parts of their agenda through veterans bills.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a disgrace to the system that we're allowed to do it. And a lot of good bills have died because of stupid amendments that one side or the other puts on there.
It just dawned on me. I haven't looked into Zadroga. Do you know anything about that?
I haven't heard in a while.
I'm gonna write that down. We got to look that up for next week and find out what the hell's going on. I can only imagine it's bad news because I would imagine if it was good news, we would have seen another appearance from Jon Stewart, thanking people or doing something to celebrate that the bill got passed. But maybe it did just get swept under the rug.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully they acted on it, but with this Congress, you never know.
Fucking Mitch McConnell. So, well, before we get into New Hampshire, we got to discuss Iowa. So
I thought that was a win as well, pretty much. I think
it means way more that Bernie almost beat Hillary than it does for Hillary barely beating Sanders. It's a bigger win for Sanders. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it showed his electability, kind of went against the electability argument that people use against him, and I mean, I was excited. We were texting kind of back and forth a little bit, and it was close. It was amazing how close it was, really. And then they even had to go back and correct some things or whatever.
No. I was about to move into the Republican side, so you took it to the Democratic one. But we'll start with this. A fucking coin toss. What the fuck, dude? A coin toss? 6 of them, and Hillary wins all 6? That's not 50-50 odds. I know. I was in a casino all fucking weekend. A coin toss. You gotta be fucking kidding me. Do a thumb war or something.
Thumb war.
Do some shit, dude. A fucking coin, rock, paper, scissors, that motherfucker. A goddamn coin toss. Here's the funny part about the coin toss. So it was 49.6 to 49.8, Hillary leading by 0.2%. And I'm like, oh, well, they're going to split the delegates down the middle. They're each going to get 22. Fuck it. I'm going to bed. So I get in the shower and my phone goes off. I get out of the shower and it's my uncle, who's also a Bernie Sanders fan. And it was him saying, you should grab your cousin and 6 other people and hightail that bitch over to Iowa because they need you. And that could make all the difference, which at the end of the day, it probably could have. So I'm like, yeah, ha, funny, whatever. And he's like, are you watching the coin? He's like, they decided to buy a coin toss. And I'm like, ha, whatever. Good night, going to bed. And then I believe you or my friend Nick or somebody text me and he's like, dude, what's up with this coin toss? I thought they were fucking kidding. I didn't know they were serious. This is a real thing? We write these motherfuckers on slips of paper with pencils and throw them in fucking popcorn containers? What the fuck is this shit? Popcorn!
Democracy.
Not technology. Democracy. But why is there not a phone app for this? Why is there not a more technologically advanced way to get... What the fuck? There is not a tie. There were not 6 fucking ties. There were not 6 precincts where Hillary and Bernie had exactly the same amount. You know what the odds of that are? It happening in one spot is one thing. But 6?
Yeah, I mean, and the fact that they had to go over and they did change some things kind of shows, the whole thing is just they got some steps to go in Iowa. Now, not to jump to New Hampshire already, but from what I understand in New Hampshire, I mean, obviously it's different. It's primary compared to the caucus, but in New Hampshire, I believe they have a police officer watching the vote count as well as a member from each side. So it's, a little more organized. But yeah, I mean, 6 coin tosses.
I say we dump Iowa. Trump's gonna buy a fucking farm out there anyway. Let's just dump Iowa.
Yeah, yes.
I think the good news out of this, like I said last week, the last 3 nominations on the Republican side did not win Iowa, so I am kind of happy that Ted Cruz won. Look where he's at on this one. I mean,
yeah,
fuck. But yeah, we'll cover that. We'll cover that when it's officially over. So we'll cover that next week. But I'm kind of happy Ted Cruz won, because odds are, if you go by statistics, I mean, Santorum and Huckabee won that shit in prior years. And while we're on the topic, why is Fiorina still kicking around?
Yeah, I'm hoping that this is the last. She leaves now and saves herself some kind of dignity. But actually, you know what? This woman has no dignity. So
no, she does not. I'm watching her fucking Twitter account, and every day it's about how slanted the media is against her and how the game is rigged against her. What?
Yeah, But I thought Marco Rubio won Iowa. I watched the speech, and I could have sworn he won.
Everybody else could have sworn he won too, by the way people were fucking talking about it.
I mean, like he literally said, nobody thought we could do this,
and you didn't.
I mean, you got 3rd place. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, how low were your expectations if they didn't even think you could come in 3rd?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, and it was a close 3rd. He was, I think, only 2,000 off to Trump, but I mean, Cruz fucking tore it up, and I hate that man. I hate him. I can't fucking stand Ted Cruz. So let me ask you this: I think Mar talked about this last night, and a few other places are doing it. So I figured we would. If you had to choose, would you rather have Trump in the White House or Ted Cruz? You can go ahead and take a minute. I know either one, but which one would you rather have?
Oh, Jesus.
He's not an option.
Scandinavia, here I come. I heard Amsterdam is nice.
No, Iceland. Iceland is nice. They're an atheist country, and they jail their corrupt bankers.
Most of those Northern European countries have a really low opinion of religion and a pretty high standard of living. So if I have to make that choice, honestly, I would be sad for America if I have to make that choice. Just because.
But who would you choose?
I can't choose.
God damn it, pick one.
I can't, because as horrible as Trump would be for the image of the United States, I don't know how stupid of the policies he would bring. But I feel like if Ted Cruz, that little snake, were to be there, I mean, he would just run rampant. Whatever it would be, he would have more of a policy damage to the United States, but Trump would have more of an image.
Do we want to be fucked domestically or internationally? I think that's the right question. I think that's a good follow-up question, right? Because I think Trump would be better at home. Because there's one thing that some people are saying that I do agree with. Trump likes to win. Trump's downfall, his overall downfall, is he's too stupid to know when he's lost. He's too stupid to know when he's losing. That's his problem. And that's why he sucks all the way around. But I do believe that Trump will find some very, very smart people, probably on the Republican side, so they're not going to be policies that you and I like. But he's going to find smart people to surround himself with. I think in this comparison alone, I think Ted Cruz is less likely is going to be more arrogant than Donald Trump, because I think it means more to Donald Trump. And Donald Trump's not going around saying God's speaking to him. So what advisor do you need if Jesus is talking to you, as far as Cruz is concerned?
Well, but I mean, as always, you have to wonder how much of that is, for the polls, and how much he really thinks.
I believe it. I do. I don't doubt it. I believe Cruz really does believe that shit.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean,
fuck it. Yeah. So So I think Iowa turned out well. I think obviously Bernie is after today. Now the battle starts. It's not. I mean, it's gonna be interesting. When's the next one? When's the next one to look out for?
There's 11 days, and then for us, it's South Carolina. No, Nevada. For the Republicans, they have South Carolina. There's two switched. For us, it goes Nevada, then South Carolina. For them, it goes South Carolina, then Nevada.
And when's Nevada?
It's 11 days from now.
And you have to be a citizen of Nevada to caucus, right?
Yeah.
Damn it.
I'm thinking about. Hopefully, I'm gonna talk to my wife. If we're available, I'm gonna try to drive over there and try to help shuttle some people to the caucus or something like that. I saw some. I'm on a lot of Bernie pages on Facebook, and in New Hampshire there was people that were trying to get rides to the polling places. So
yeah, you got a van, man. Do it up.
Yeah, the Bernie bus.
The Bernie bus. That's awesome. Or the Burn One bus.
Yeah, it's a ganja bus, but
that's awesome. So with let me see. We talked about Sonomy. So last weekend, for Super Bowl, I'm so sorry that Panthers lost. I know that probably hurts. I won a shit ton of money though. Man, I've never bet sports before, and I didn't bet on who would win or who would lose. I made those crazy proposition bets.
Oh yeah,
dude. Me and Fry, dude, we fucking tore it up. And I bet Jonathan Stewart would score the final touchdown for either team, and I held on to that motherfucker until Cam fumbled that ball, and Fry picked Anderson. And that motherfucker ran it into the fucking end zone. I almost made a shit ton of money because Jonathan Stewart scoring the last touchdown of the game was a long shot, and nobody scored a touchdown forever, and then fumbled that fucking ball. Either way, though, I made 8 proposition bets, and I got 5 of them right. So,
nice.
Yeah, dude, I've never bet sports before. So between that and tearing it up on the craps table, it was awesome. But the reason I bring all that up is so Lindsay and I, we drove there to meet those friends of ours, and we saw 3 interesting things in the middle of hillbilly fucking Arizona and hillbilly Nevada. The first sign that we saw was a sign that said "Abolish IRS." I haven't seen one before. Hold on, it gets crazier. Then we saw "Choose Freedom, Stop Obamacare." And then we saw a town that looked like Juarez, fucking Mexico, with Confederate flags all over the place. And on one of the Confederate flags, they correctly labeled themselves rednecks. I don't know what this town was called, but it looked like fucking Juarez, Mexico. Like watch Sicario, and then imagine that on a hillside in the middle of the fucking desert with Confederate flags and American flags all over the fucking place with rednecks on this banner. That's not a place where I want to break down.
That was a nice ride, I'm sure.
No. This man, they had a grocery store there, and it was called Jim. It was like Jim Bob's Food and Supply or some shit. I was like, fucking hell, this is not where I want to end up. It was, oh man. That was kind of scary driving through there, but other than that, it was a good weekend. I enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was fun, I guess.
Yeah, it was a good game. Commercials were all right. So
yeah, they weren't that great. The only funny one was the one with Seal. That was the only one that I thought was kind of funny.
There was a couple that kind of made me laugh, but nothing that really stood out amazingly. But
what was that? It was like Baby Pug.
Oh, the monkey dog,
monkey pug baby or something. That was.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
How does this shit? How does this shit even?
And they spend like $6 million, 30 seconds to.
Yeah, I'm doing the fucking graphic, the CGI work that it would take to get a fucking pug, a monkey, and a baby to. It's going downhill, man. It's all going downhill.
Oh yeah.
So let me see. What else we got here? All right. So I realized that I hadn't told this story on here. So when I was living in Southern California, this is probably 2 years ago. Maybe people have heard of Nick Vujicic. Have you heard of this guy?
I'm not sure. Sounds a little familiar, but
Have you heard of Life Without Limbs?
I cannot say that I have.
All right. So I had a friend in Ventura, where I used to live, who was a Catholic school teacher. She was a religion teacher at the Catholic school. She's awesome. Lindsay and I both love her. She's not like uptight, prude, any of that shit. She's awesome. Well, she called us one day and she said, "Hey, I got tickets to go see a motivational speaker tonight at the fairgrounds over there, and I have nobody to go with. The friends I was going to go with canceled. Would you guys like to go?" And I said, "Well, tell me more about this guy." And she's like, "Oh, he's got no arms, no legs. He's from Australia. And he's just one of the most powerful motivational speakers I've ever heard. He just has a great outlook on life and, whatever." So I'm like, "Yeah, fuck, we ain't doing anything tonight. Yeah, we'll go with you. I mean, if anything, just to, hang out." So I hang up with her. Lindsay's aunt calls her, and she's on speaker. And she's like, "Hey, we got invited to go see this Nick Vujicic guy." And her aunt goes, "Oh my God, I love him. He's amazing." And so now I'm listening to this, and she's like, "Oh, you're gonna feel the Holy Spirit when you go listen to this guy." And Lindsay, like, it was almost like the record skipped. Like, Lindsay just like looked at me, and I'm like, I mouthed Holy Spirit to her. I'm like, "Holy Spirit, what the fuck?" And Lindsay goes, "Michael's an atheist." And I heard the loudest, "Are you fucking kidding me? How dare?" And then she just goes on this rant about me being an atheist, and that makes me a bad person. So I get on the phone while she's still talking to her aunt, and I Googled this guy. She gets off the phone, and she's like, "Do you want to cancel?" And I'm like, "No, because we already told our friend that we would go hang out with her." And I said, "But on his page, yes, he's an evangelist, but he's got two different speeches. One he gives at churches, one he gives to public places like where we're going to be tonight. And honestly, anybody that's made a success out of themselves with no arms and no legs, that was born that way, I'm sure they have something to say, right? Am I wrong?"
No, that's a good assessment, I guess.
Is it not a good one, but is it a fair assessment?
No, yeah. I mean, of course, that's pretty big challenges to overcome.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So I said, "Fuck it, let's go." And I'm just like, please be the motivational speech. Please be the motivational speech. Like, do not throw Jesus into this. So when we get there, I'm prepared for him to talk about Jesus a little bit. I know it's going to come up if he's an evangelist, but hopefully he's just going to stick with this story. And we get to this place, and there are thousands of people. And that was my first, oh, fuck. There's a lot of motherfuckers here. We sit down, and sitting right in front of us, my wife knows the husband of this family from her job. And they turn around and they start talking to us. And soon after they start talking to us, the wife goes, so what church do you guys go to?" And I didn't say anything. And Lindsay goes, "Oh, John Stewart." And I'm like, I was so proud of my wife. I'm like, "Fuck yeah, that's awesome. John Stewart, eat it, bitch." Anyway, so that happens. And then a band comes out. Fucking 30 minutes of all that. We talked about how they do music, how it's in like the key of C and it makes you happy, and it's very driving and uplifting and all this other fucking bullshit. So after hearing songs about making love to Jesus for 30 minutes, they get off the stage. And then a pastor walks out, and the pastor just starts praying. And he says a prayer, and then he starts speaking. And that's when I about lost my shit. Now, at this moment, I've been okay, because there's still been hope that I'm not going to have to listen to religious bullshit for an hour and a half, 2 hours. All that hope went away when the pastor came out, said his prayer, and I'm like, okay, I got to give him a prayer. It's all right. I gotta let that slide. Then he starts speaking, and he talks about how Ventura County is going to be the beacon of light for the rest of the world and the United States to follow, because we need to put the Bible back in our schools. We need it back in our politics. It needs to be force-fed to our children. They need to know what happens when blah, 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 fire, brimstone, pitchfork in the ass. Jesus loves you. God loves you. As long as you love him back, you don't have to fear eternity in fucking hell. That's when I lost my shit. So in order to contain my shit that I just lost, everything sunk to the pit of my stomach, and I had the worst fucking stomach ache. And poor Lindsay, she's sitting next to me, and I'm like holding her hand, and every time this man says something I don't like, which is very often, I crush her fingers. And it's like the Coke can from Christmas, the story that I said. I didn't even realize I was doing it. He's just like, I don't know how you wake up every day and not like that pastor. I don't know how you wake up and you're not on your knees praying to God. And squish, and I broke my wife's pinky. It's just madness. So he gets done with his shit and he leaves the stage. And now it's time for the main event. Not a big event. About a 3-foot event. He comes out. Now, have you seen Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls?
Oh yeah.
All right. Remember that guy that played in that movie Booty Call? He plays the psycho warrior. No one messes with the dude. That guy that he fights. Like, they bring this motherfucker out in a bag, like on a backpack. I'm not kidding, and I'm not trying to make fun of the guy, but all I was thinking was, white devil, white devil. Like, a guy walks out with the backpack on. And like turns around to the table, and this guy Nick is onto the table. Now he can walk. He's very athletic. Like this guy is in shape. He can do some shit. Now he gets up there and he starts talking, and it's all about Jesus. It's all about God. It's all about how he tried to commit suicide when he was 8 years old because his parents were up crying every night over him and everything. They had to do everything for him. It's very, very sad. But he talks about how he almost killed himself and all this. And every time he talks about a challenge that he went through, I thought, man, fuck, good for you. No, not good for him. He didn't do it. Jesus did. And he gave Jesus the praise for it. And I'm just like, what the for as arrogant as religious people are, they don't take any credit. So now the bullshit really starts to hit the fucking fan. He talks about how he went to Africa and he performed miracles.
I got a couple of miracles I could think of if I was him.
No, he brings that up. He talked about that. He said, don't get me wrong, I would perform miracles, and then I look up to the sky and I'd say, Jesus, anything for me? And then he comedically made this like face like he's trying to blow pressure so his arms and legs would pop out. He was very funny. He was a very good speaker. Anyway, he talks about how he basically just wandered around this village, probably in Uganda or somewhere in Africa, and people would walk up to him, and there was a lady who looked like, he described it that she looked like a drawn bow. Like she was bent at the hip. I don't know how to put it. Not forwards, but to the side. So if you can imagine, her vertebrae was in the shape of a C at all times. I'm trying to explain this for the listeners. So, and as he started praying with her, she started to like erect. So imagine a floppy penis, and he starts praying, and the dick just starts getting really hard until it's pointing straight up, and then she said thank you and walked away. Now
that's my foreplay, by the way.
Tricky dick. So and I just want to be honest. The penis analogy was mine. That was not his. That was me. So anyway, like he tells that story. Then he tells a story about an old lady who has not walked in like 20 years, and she's sitting on her couch, and he walks up and he puts the hand of God on her. Yeah, I got to get around to that hand of God thing. Okay, so he says he prayed with her and all this other shit. She not only got up and walked away, she danced. This is bullshit. This is complete fucking bullshit. There's a lie going on, and one is way more likely than the other. Either this type of healing does not work, or this entire town was just playing a joke on this poor little quadriplegic. One of the two had to be going on. Somebody's like, Elma, lay on that fucking couch. Some of you haven't walked in 20 years. And when he heals you, stand up and dance and walk away. Like, one of those two things are happening. So I brought up the hand of God thing. So then he starts talking to the teens. And he tells the teens, this makes me a prick. This completely makes me a prick. But I'm fine with it. Fuck that guy. I don't care. He starts talking about abstinence to the teens. And how important waiting is. And he tells these teens, this is what I think is fucked up. This is false advertisement. He says, believe me, I know how hard it can be to wait for somebody special. It was very difficult for me to wait for who is now my wife. And I'm sitting there thinking, you don't have one hand to bat the bitches away. Stop it. Stop lying to these fucking kids. Listen to the scientific evidence. Abstinence does not fucking work. It doesn't prevent anything. Send your fucking kids to Planned Parenthood so they can get condoms and other forms of birth control. Because Planned Parenthood prevents way more abortions than it gives. Anyway, off that rant. This guy said that. He told these teens, and I whispered to Lindsay, I'm like, is this motherfucker serious right now? Is he seriously trying to say he ran up, like he would walk up to women and just run the game from 3 foot above the fucking ground? No! Did they take him to prom? Did they put him in a backpack then? Okay, I'm getting too mean. I'm not trying to be mean because of this guy's deal. I think the reason I'm making fun of what he is, which is something I've always said you should never do, and I shouldn't do it now. I shouldn't. But I think the reason why I'm okay making fun of him is because instead of delivering the true story of how this guy accomplished what he did and all the accomplishments and great things that he has been able to do, instead of giving him and his family and his wife and all these people and the doctors and all these people that stood by his side to give him the life that he has, he gave every bit of that glory to God. And I think that's fucking wrong. I think this is, this isn't a miracle, but this is somebody overcoming enormous obstacles that most of us can't even imagine. And this guy's giving himself and all the real people that helped him get to where he's at no fucking credit. This is all part of God's plan anyway. You have to help me because God said you would. Anyway, after that last part of the story, he talked about how he saved 10,000 people that morning. When they walk you up and, does everybody accept Jesus Christ? Yeah, okay, you're blessed. That whole thing. So now, like I said, my stomach had been hurting. I'm sure my wife's hand was hurting. And I really, really needed a cigarette. I needed one before I got there. That's how bad it was. So throughout this whole thing, I had the lady behind me. You know that one that's always in church that says amen and hallelujah to everything the fucking preacher says? Yeah, she was, her. She was sitting right behind me. And so she was doing that, and he calls everybody up to go get saved at the stage. I was like, fuck yeah, this is my chance. I can stand up like with everybody else that stands up, and then I can just kind of veer off to the side and go smoke a cigarette, and then I'll just wait it out there until this whole thing is fucking over with. Well, I stand up and nobody else does. Right as I stand up, he says, not to me, he can't see me, but just to the whole audience, he says, if you see somebody start to stand up or that wants to stand up but is too embarrassed to do it, encourage them to get up here and give their life to Jesus. So here's what happened. I stand up. Nobody else does. So I sit my ass back down. And as Steve Harvey would call her, Mrs. O'Dale, decided to give me some motherfucking encouragement. So I failed as gracefully as I possibly could. I stood up. She said, stand up, get up there and get saved by Jesus. And so I stood up again for the second time, and I looked at her, and she's like, you go get a hallelujah. And I pulled the pack of cigarettes out of my pocket and said, nah, I just need to smoke. I took that shit. I said, fuck you, Jesus. I'm going to go have a goddamn cigarette, Mrs. O'Dale. You're not going to tell me what to do and run my life. And so I went and smoked and tried not to get recognized by anybody, but that didn't go too fucking well either. I had somebody that was convinced that I was a troubled atheist, and they caught me there. And so it was me trying to give myself back to God. And that turned into a whole nother fucking situation. Anyway, that's the end of the story of Nick Wojciech. You can catch him on Life Without Limbs on A&E, I think. He has a reality show where they teach him how to drive and shit. It's, no, not at all. It's bad. Anyway, so that was that night.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I hope you're over it now.
Can you tell
Any
that I'm
emotional
not?
scars are healing.
The more I kept telling that story, the more I started to remember about that horrible night. I was uncovering suppressed memories of what happened there. And my friend that invited us, we went to coffee afterwards, and it was one of the first conversations about religion that I had with a religious person. And it was a great conversation. And she was so apologetic. She really did not think this was going to happen. It was a good end to the night, but oh, goddamn. Whew. Anyway, what else we got? You got to talk for a while. I'm done. I just talked for like 10 minutes straight.
It was nice to hear that heartwarming story there. But yeah, so the one thing I was going to bring up going back to politics a little bit. I don't know if you've heard all the details, but it seems like it's getting a little gritty. I don't know. Bill Clinton came out, I think, yesterday and made some remarks. I don't know if you heard the two ladies, Madeleine Albright and I think Gloria Steinem. She was on
bitches.
Bill Maher.
Yeah, I know. I saw it. Fucking idiots.
Yeah, and I was. My wife, she was actually, she had to run some errands today, but I was going to invite her on for a little bit just to talk about, how she felt as a young woman.
Is she here? Is she there?
No, she's not. No, I was going to bring her on just a little bit, but she had some things to do. But, yeah, I mean, it just horrible. Both of the remarks, I'm obviously not a woman, but, Gloria's remark that, the young women are there because the boys like Bernie, that's a huge disservice to women. And as a feminist, to say that,
that's my point.
It's you're basically just like walking back the things that you've taken, you've worked for your whole life that give women freedom of thought and, separate. And to say that the only reason they're supporting Bernie is, because that's where the boys are. It's just, just stupid thing to say.
How can you call yourself a feminist saying that? I mean, I can put this in very racist terms, but I'm not going to. But you can easily translate this to racism as well. Like I said, you can draw your own analogy, but I can think of a very racist thing to say right now that would be the equivalent of that would match the level of ignorance in what they said. That's just because women don't have brains, because they're still just doing whatever the man tells them. And, they're doing dishes and cooking and cleaning all day. They don't know what politics are. What the fuck? How can you be a feminist and say something like that?
Yeah. When I heard it, watching Bill Maher, I was like, what the hell? And I rewound it and I was like, it doesn't make sense. I didn't honestly know too much about her, just his introduction that,
right.
She had been fighting, as a feminist. And since then, I've seen, the kind of blowback, and she's walked it back a little bit. Madeleine Albright, hasn't. And it was interesting to hear Hillary Clinton. They asked her about it, and she just laughed it off and, like, oh, she's always kind of said that. But, that one is even worse, that there's a special place in hell for women that don't help other women.
That's just, that is just stupid. That's such a dumb thing to say. Like, don't vote for Hillary because she has a vagina. That's just fucking stupid. You know who also has a vagina? Unfortunately, Ann Coulter. I don't want fucking Ann Coulter running anything. I don't want Carly Fiorina running anything. And at this point, if it wasn't for Bernie Sanders, I wouldn't be promoting Hillary that much, but I would be arguing with people to vote for Hillary. Yeah. Given the field.
A year ago, I was prepared to defend, Hillary.
Yeah, I know, and that would have been a very hard uphill battle. But Hillary has my vote if she wins the nomination. But it has nothing to do with what is or what is not between her fucking legs. It has nothing to do with that. I mean, I don't. That's just and I'll say the same thing. If anybody voted for Obama strictly because he was black, you're a fucking idiot. Now it worked out well. That's I think Obama was the best chance we had in 2008 and 2012. But we need to stop focusing on what we are. It's ridiculous. You had nothing to do with being male, female, black, white, Hispanic. You had no fucking choice in the matter. Fuck your pride. I'm tired of that shit. Okay, I feel another rant coming on.
No, you're good. And lately,
I feel another rant, dude. It's building.
Lately for me, I've always considered myself pretty big on history, but lately I've been learning a lot, watching JFK speeches, Martin Luther King speeches, Franklin Roosevelt. I've been watching, and I guess I never took the time before to really watch a speech, maybe from 30, 40, 50 years ago. I guess, I never really considered it. But watching some Bernie clips, I saw different pieces of speeches, and I went back and watched. And it's amazing how much that was the message, even back then, that
right.
All three of them, Martin Luther King, so much it was, he's so famous for his, civil rights and stuff like that, but he was really a class thing too. He would say, it doesn't matter if you're black, if you're Hispanic, if you're a poor white, we all have the same problems. And it was refreshing to hear, people talk about that so far back in the past, but at the same time, it's shameful that, Bernie's one of the few that talks about it now, but that whole come together kind of idea just gets left out of our politics, our music, our, just everything in our culture. So much time is spent dividing us,
right.
instead of bringing us together that, it's amazing. And I think hopefully, that's one of the reasons Bernie's doing so well is he's trying to unite people, but it takes more than one person. We need to start that kind of movement again where people come together, regardless of your race or sexual orientation or whatever.
Yeah, and that's I wrote a thing about this on the Age of Reason page. So here's the deal. When you are oppressed for what you are, that breeds one thing, which is to draw a line in the sand, because then you have to become prideful of what you are in order to know that you're not lesser of a human being. That's why we have black pride. That's why we have Jewish pride. That's why we have gay pride. That's why we have women's pride. And that's why you're not allowed to have white pride, because as a whole, white people have never been oppressed. Therefore, if you yell white pride, it's the same as white power. You're not allowed to do that. So we have these things of what we are that we had no decision in. We had no influence over any of that. And because people have been oppressed for what they are, they focus more on what they are other than who they are, which is where the pride needs to go. The longer this shit goes on, the longer it's going to take for all of us to understand that your black pride, your gay pride, your Hispanic pride, whatever the case is, none of that matters. It only matters because we're told that it does. And the longer it takes us to understand this, the longer it's going to take us to really understand that this entire fucking thing is about money. It's about your class. That's all this fucking is. How do you get 98% of the people to not focus on the top 2% or the top 1, or in Bernie's case, the top 10th of 1%? How do you get them to not do that? You tell them, hey, you see those gay people over there, the GBLT? Yeah, you're a Christian? Good. Jesus fucking hates those guys. Hey, white people, are you having a hard time fucking getting a job and making ends meet? Regardless of the fact that it's because of my trickle-down economic policy why you got laid off. Regardless of that, hey, you see those fucking Mexicans over there? Yeah, they're trying to take your fucking job, and they're probably illegal anyway. Hey, black people, forget the fucking fact that we flooded their inner cities with fucking drugs and don't allow you guys to do anything other than stay in your ghettos, sell drugs, or work at fucking liquor stores. Hey, white people, why can't black people get off their fucking ass? It's been 200 fucking years since slavery? What excuse do they have? Yeah, you know what? You're fucking right. Mexicans, black people's trying to take your fucking money. Black people, fucking gays think that they have it worse than you did during civil rights movement. Oh, no, fuck that. It's that fucking easy. And that's all that's fucking happening. These differences only mean something because we're told they do. Honestly, I think this is the most important fucking message that can be preached. I think this is the only important thing that we can say. Because you know what? If everybody fucking bought into this message, there would be no more Republican Party. It'd be done. We would have liberals, and then we would have some sort of centrist fucking party, and things would not be moving so far to the fucking right now, only protecting the rich and the religious.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's something that, that you've talked, in our conversations going back, pretty far, something that you've always talked about. And I want to give you kind of credit for that. So, I mean, yeah, it's I hopefully, something that we continue to talk about going forward, because like I said, just that kind of positive message and the bringing people together, it's important. But on that note, we need to bash some religion. No, just
we can bash religion. I think
no, I'm just teasing. But,
I think the hardest part about all that is being black, being gay, being a woman, being a lot of things that have been discriminated against. I think it's a hard thing to get over, because it must be important, because I have lost, not me, I'm speaking for them, but as a gay person, as a black, as a whatever, you've lost certain things in your life. You've lost certain opportunities. You've lost certain certain things that life should have given you. You missed out on strictly because Flint, you missed out on clean fucking water as a black child, simply because you're black and you live in fucking Michigan and nobody gives a shit. That puts in your head, it must mean something. And it's not until people are willing to give up that fucking pride. But anyway, moving on. Do we have anything else? Let me see.
We got about 10 minutes.
We got 10 minutes. What to discuss?
Oh, I don't know. On the Republican debate, I don't remember. I think it was Saturday. Only a couple parts worth mentioning. I thought it's been televised all the time, but the Rubio Christie thing was pretty good, and I don't know how much that hurt him, but you caught the Robo Rubio kind of that part, or no?
No, this week I missed the fucking GOP debate because I was out of town all goddamn weekend.
So
I would have a third rant right now if I would have watched it. Fuck.
I only watched a little bit of it, and it was more than enough. But yeah, so Marco Rubio, he went on this rant, and I think he did it twice, where he said, people keep saying Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And he said that twice. And the second time, Chris Christie goes, hey, so this is what's wrong with Washington. You have these people, they memorize these 25-second speeches, and they just regurgitate them on demand, And not even like 2 minutes later, Rubio goes, people keep saying Obama doesn't know what he's doing. He knows exactly what he's doing. And Christie, I give him credit, for once. He tells him, there it is again. That that same thing. And it goes to show, pretty much what it's real, what Washington's about, that the little soundbite and the debates, they just memorize these, certain talking points that they feel is a strong point for them, and just kind of like fire them on demand. And he got, called out for it. And that was interesting. The other interesting part was they talked about torture, and Donald Trump said he would go a hell of a lot further than waterboarding.
I saw that.
So we got that. We talked about the death penalty a couple weeks ago. Unfortunately, I don't think we were able to use it on the show, but we had a pretty good debate on it.
Right.
And most of the same cases for the death penalty would obviously could be transferred to the torture. I don't know if me and you have ever really discussed the use of torture or anything, but I'm pretty sure, I imagine we're aligning on that issue, right?
Yeah, this is where, the same as the death penalty, when it comes to torture, it makes sense to kill a mass murderer by lethal injection, electric chair, whatever. Just like it makes sense that if you capture a known terrorist, and you know there's a plot, and you know he knows something about it, that you could beat it out of him. It makes sense. But this is what I think separates religious people from atheists, is when we're presented with facts, we don't then say, well, no, I still believe this works. It doesn't. Most of the time, you're given wrong information when it comes to torture, or no information. It's proven to not be worth it. It's proven to not torture somebody. And when it comes to the death penalty, I think you and I did discuss the death penalty. We didn't do a debate, but there was an episode back when I brought up Paradise Lost and that documentary now changes. Yeah. So I don't want to get into the death penalty. I think that was like episode 5 or 6-ish, somewhere around there in the middle. So if you guys want to listen to it, go back and listen to that episode. But in regards to torture, I mean, don't treat them nicely. I mean, but it's no. I mean, waterboarding and that type of shit. Because the problem is that at some point, the real issue is that you don't know what the other person knows, and eventually, when they have been tortured enough, their memory gets fucked up. And you don't know what you're getting. That's the problem, because you don't know if they're just basically giving you information like a safe word in order to just get you to stop. Yeah. I mean, that's the main fucking problem. Not to mention the biggest issue that I have with Trump and with Cruz, because I'm tired of Ted Cruz saying, I will not apologize for defending America, when it's brought up that he's going to kill tons of innocent people if he does the carpet bombing. That's his term. Exactly. We're supposed to be better than that. We're supposed to be the United States. And when it comes to I remember 2 debates ago, Rubio said, Sanders would be a great candidate for Sweden.
Denmark.
Was it Denmark or Sweden?
Yeah,
Sweden,
something like that.
One of them.
Yeah. One of those kind of,
Okay, we are not the greatest nation in the world on paper. And we've talked about this too. And what would make us a much better nation is if we weren't afraid to take notes out of other people's books. We expect the entire world to take note of our history and how we overcame things and how we did become the superpower and rated the greatest nation on the planet. But I'm gonna post something on the Facebook page. There's a really good TV show. It's only 3 seasons long, called Newsroom on HBO with Jeff Daniels. That show,
I wish it would have kept it going.
It was a little drama-ish. It was almost too drama-ish for me, but it was a great show. But there was a speech in the very first episode from Jeff Daniels that I'll put on there where his monologue is about how America is not the greatest country anymore and why we're not. And one of the reasons why we're not is because we thought we had all the answers. Well, the problem is we need to fucking evolve. And while the rest of the world caught up to us and has surpassed us in many ways, we are so arrogant that, we'll say, one of our presidential candidates, Marco Rubio, will say that this guy that has all these progressive ideas that's working out for everybody else needs to go over there and run for president because we're too ignorant and arrogant to think we need that type of help. That's my take on it. I don't know how I got there from torture.
No. Listening to Marco Rubio is close enough to torture.
No, Ted Cruz is definitely torture.
Yeah, I think looking at the TV right now, it looks like he's going to finish in 3rd
Who?
In New Hampshire. Ted Cruz.
Oh, he's going to finish in 3rd?
Yeah, I think Jeb Bush is 4th. Marco Rubio's 5th. So.
Trump's still got a pretty big lead over there?
Yeah, I think he's got 34%, which, I mean, when you think it's a third of the people, hopefully after New Hampshire, some of these jokers start, just giving it up.
I do worry, though, because, I mean, there are a lot of similarities between Bernie Sanders and Trump. Not in their policy, but just in how they're campaigning, and the similarity is in the opposition of their message because of how opposite they are. I worry that what I think is going to happen to Trump happens to Sanders. Now that we're out of Iowa and New Hampshire and we got to go to these southern states I just worry because I found out today. Actually, my wife told me that Hillary raised more money out of the state of Arizona than Bernie did. But then again, money doesn't really matter to Bernie. So we'll see.
I mean, I know in January he outraised her, I think, by $5 million, which is pretty, impressive. When, I'm not going to go over his stats, the $27, but it's small contributions, and I think I read somewhere that 99.7% of his donors can donate again because only 0.3% have donated the maximum amount. So it's, he's got a pretty big say. I mean, to be honest, I just donated 25 today after the New Hampshire victory, just see how, what he's going to get. But the money thing, it's there. I think he's getting a lot of the former head of the NAACP just endorsed him.
Wait, is that the tits guy?
The tits guy. I think his last name is Jealous or something.
Oh, no, never mind. We had in Arizona, the head of the NAACP chapter in Arizona got caught talking about a reporter's tits, and I think he just stepped down.
No, it wasn't that guy. This guy was the head of the national NAACP. Just endorsed Bernie. He's meeting, I think, with Al Sharpton in the morning, which, not that I give that.
What you can get. Yeah.
Not that I give it that, much credit, but, he is, a key member of the African-American community. So, hopefully he starts making himself more known. People can see his history. I mean, look at, you can't really argue with, his history. He marched with, Martin Luther King.
You can't.
Got arrested for, protesting segregated housing. I mean, his history is, it's proven.
He's been on the right side of history long before anybody else was, including fucking Hillary Clinton. How much time do we got?
Got 3 minutes.
Okay, well, I'll close with this. There's a school district here in Arizona that just approved for their teachers not just teachers, selected staffers to carry firearms. What the fuck?
Yeah, I gotta tell you, man, that when I see a state pass a fucked up law, there's probably like a 1 in 3 chance it's Arizona. And you're right there in the heart of it all. So
I know.
Good luck.
Oh, but the Satanic Church got the prayer canceled over here.
I saw that. I mean, it's a step forward. It was kind of they canceled it because they didn't want the Satanic Church to give their invocation.
So they mission accomplished.
Yeah. I mean, that was the overall, goal, but it you achieve the goal, but at the same time, it shows just how fucked up it is. As long as it's a Christian prayer, they've probably had it for 100 years, right? It's been okay. Right. The minute that a satanic, somebody that's not Christian wants to do it, oh, you know what? We don't really need that prayer. I mean, it is a victory because they got what they wanted accomplished, but it just shows how fucked up the whole thing is.
Well, yeah, Cam Newton said a prayer before his first play of the game, and that didn't seem to work out for him. But I feel like we should mention this every episode just in case we get a new listener that listens to this, and now they're at the point they're going, oh, wait a minute. I thought these guys, Jenny, you said they were atheists. Why are they talking about Satan? Okay, real quick. Satanic churches, the majority of them do not worship Satan. Atheism is not a religion, so there are many atheists out there that belong to a satanic church, but we don't believe in supernatural shit. I'm not a member of one of them. Alex isn't a member of one of them. But what they do is anytime a religious agenda is going on in a town, like City Hall tries to put up 10 commandments outside of their office, or in this case, they try to hold a prayer on city or public property. The Satanic Church comes and offers to say a prayer for Lucifer, or
build a statue of the goat god
of the goat god holding or blessing a child with his pitchfork or something. And then in turn the Christians then the powers that be then say, okay, no more religion. And that's why there are satanic churches. So with this particular satanic church, I'm going to try to find out more about these guys. I'm going to make sure they're not an actual satanic church, because I've never met a Satanist. So if this is a bunch of atheists doing the satanic church thing,
only in high school, I think by then most people grow out of it.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met somebody that worships Satan. So as long as these guys aren't them, I'm gonna see if we can get them on the show. I'm gonna see what
that'd
we
be
can
cool.
Do. Yeah,
Cool.
And publicly thank them for what they just did.
Yeah, definitely. You need all the help you can get over there.
Oh, dude, every day. I mean, the people over here just. Oh, I didn't get into laminin and the adhesion molecule. God damn it, I'm gonna have to do that next week. Yeah. So I got to give the DVD back tomorrow for the reverse pickpocketing of Jesus, because God sneezed and caused the Big Bang Theory. Oh, fucking shit.
That's why you say God bless.
Whoa, I see what you did there, man. That's some good shit. All right, we out of time?
Yeah, it's about time, man.
All right, cool. Well, thanks everybody. Follow up. You know, I'm getting rid of Instagram. I'm stopping Instagram. I'm not doing it anymore. I'm having way too much fun on Twitter.
Yeah, we don't take
Fuck
many
it.
pictures.
Fuck Instagram. Okay, so don't follow us on Instagram anymore. I'm getting rid of it. I'm fucking pulling the plug. But Twitter, I'm enjoying Twitter. Twitter is a lot of fun. I talk shit directly to the candidates, especially Carly Fiorina. I can't stand that woman. Anyway, follow us on Twitter at AOR_podcast. Find the Age of Reason podcast page on Facebook, or for everything else, including content about religion and atheism and science and debate videos and all the rest of the material, including streaming our podcast, subscribing to it, all that shit at AORpodcast.com.
You're the man.
Ah, fuck, man. I've been talking a lot. Okay, I think we're done here. All right. Cool?
Cool.
All right. Take care, everybody. We'll see you next week.